David, thank you very much for joining us. I know it's a busy time in the transfer window and there's still quite a little bit to go. Have you managed to accomplish what you wanted to do when the full-time whistle was blown at the end of last season?
Yes.
Can you tell us what it was?
Staying in the Premier League was a big thing. And let's be fair, we probably accomplished that quite early on. The players done a brilliant job and picked up so many good wins at the end of last season from sort of January onwards. So, yeah, we accomplished what we wanted, yeah.
You're only third behind Sir Alex and Arsene Wenger in terms of top-flight level matches that you've been in charge of. Do you recognise yourself now from when you first started?
Well, certainly a lot greyer than I was when I came in here with a big ginger wig, I think, at the time. But overall, I think you have to evolve and change with it. Somebody said to me the other day that they thought I had 21 years in the Premier League, and I says, there's no way I could have 21 years in the Premier League. I don't know if it's even right. It can't be 21, surely not. But
it's gone so quickly.
It's good. Well, whatever it is, at this time, I don't feel old with it. In fact, I think the game keeps you young. Really fortunate we work with a lot of young men, and you have to keep up with the new things going on, and I think it helps you.
So, have you changed more as a manager, as a coach, or has the game changed more in that time? Well,
I think I've probably changed as well, because you evolve from being probably someone who was very demanding and excitable probably as a younger manager, and desperate to do well, because if you don't do well as a young manager, then you probably don't get a second chance at it or a chance to continue what you're doing. But I think now I'm much more experienced and not quite as bad as I used to be, but still want to be heavily involved, still want to be involved in the training, still want to be on the touchline with the players. So I'm enjoying it, I've got to say. I've really enjoyed since I come back to Everton. It's been brilliant, and and there's a lot of really good things happening at Everton at the moment.
I know you've got your new stadium for starters.
Yeah.
Has that relit the fire? Has that given you more energy than you had? Because when I spoke to you the first time you came back to Everton, you were talking about having those first day nerves and everything else, because you were coming back to something that you knew so much about.
Yeah, I think more importantly it's given Evertonians a huge lift. So me being the manager coming back, knowing that there's a new stadium, I think the supporters have been really excited about it, knowing that Goodison was coming to an end, which, let's be fair, probably for a long time all were hoping and were expecting that, and it just happens that I've fallen back into the job round the time of the new stadium. So look, we're really excited by it. It's a great period for Everton supporters, and hopefully the future Evertonians as well, that they're going to be at the new stadium for another 100 years or so. So we should all look forward to it. I'm really privileged, and I never thought for a minute it would be me who was doing it. I'd finished at West Ham, and I wasn't really expecting to go back into work too quickly. But this opportunity was too good, and I'm glad I did take it, because it's been a brilliant choice. It's a great club, and I'm really honoured that I'm getting the chance to take us into the new stadium.
We joked before we started the interview about why you put yourself through it. We are in a transfer window which is going to come to an end. But how testing, just from a broader point of view, how testing are transfer windows now?
You're trying to bring in new players, you want to improve your side if you can. Maybe there's players who want to go. You might not want them to leave. There's so many different situations going on. And obviously, you media are always chasing for something regarding, what's the news, who are you signing, etc., etc. And it's just feels like a constant time. I think we'll all be glad. I think it's the 1st of September it closes this year. I think we'll all be glad when it gets to the point where it's shut off, because we can get on with the job, we can look at the football, deal with the players we've got. At the moment, we're all out there sort of chasing around, trying to find some new players, or trying to find homes for some of our own players. I don't think it's a dead easy time now for managers. The only sort of bit I would say about that is, most of the clubs, have other people who are helpful and do a lot of the work in those areas as well.
How much work do you do though in it?
I do a lot of work in it. It's always been what I've done. I've always been involved. I think if the head coach or the manager, whatever you want to call him, doesn't have the final say, or isn't the one who's sort of saying, yes, I would like that player, I think it can make it very difficult, and I always believe that the manager has to do that. So quite often then the manager at this time of the year finds himself busy on other things, sort of maybe making decisions on what players you're bringing.
Can I ask you one more question on it? How do you keep a lid on it though? Does it affect your mood if you're not maybe getting what you want, or when you do get what you want, it sort of puts a spring in your step?
Yeah,
do you allow it
it does.
to?
No, I think there'll be players who you're excited about bringing, people who you're saying, oh no, I'm really looking forward to having them, and it's what we need. It's something which I really want. But there'll be other ones where you just go about the job and you have to bring in players because you need them as well. But I think you're always looking forward to new players, new adventures with them as well, and hoping that they can make your team better.
The one person who a lot of people are talking about, Jack Grealish, how good has he been since he came to Everton?
Well, I can only tell you what I've seen and what I've found of him at the moment. And look, everybody who speaks about him loves Jack. Everybody at the football clubs, I spoke to people at Aston Villa, I spoke to people at Man City, and they all speak so highly of Jack as a boy and what he does and his time for everybody. And then the football part comes into it as well. So, spoke to a lot of people who know him, people who played with him, watched him a lot myself. So I've been really impressed by him generally. His training's been good. He's wanting to get back to peak levels again. We hope we could get him close to that if we can. And I'm hoping that he can show some of those signs which he's done over many, many years for Man City and for Aston Villa, for Everton here as well.
He's got that infectious character, hasn't he?
He's a really, really good lad, and I think everybody likes him. But more importantly, we want him to be a serious football player who's determined, and he's trying to build himself back up. He's hopefully going to go with England to the World Cup in the summer, and he knows that his performances and his goals and assists will all play a big part in that.
When you had that time out, or the different times that you had out in between jobs, you were going to a lot of conferences, talking to UEFA. You were busy, but did you evolve from what you were learning from those conferences as well, and from what you were saying?
Well, I generally think in football you have to keep trying to evolve in what you're doing and listen to other people. So I was very fortunate UEFA gave me some work going to watch all the Champions League games, and it was great to go and see the best teams and the best players and try to watch what they were doing. Some great managers had a chance to be in contact with as well. So all those things I think you have to build up. I think when you're out of work, I think you have to work just as hard when you're out of work to get back in work. You have to try and be out, try and watch some training if you can, go to some other clubs, watch other. I mean, I one of my plans was to go to South America and watch a lot of the football in South America, and unfortunately I got back, not unfortunate, but fortunate I got back in this job too soon, or I would have probably tried to take in quite a few games in South America to try and see the different cultures and the different styles. So I think you've got to try and keep learning, and I was fortunate that UEFA and some other people allowed me to join in with them.
Is that still on the bucket list?
It's still in the bucket list, but in the summer I went to see quite a few of the South American teams playing the Club World Cup, and look, the teams were very good. I was pleased. It was great to see them play, but I think the biggest surprise was how good the support was. The noise of the support. Boca Juniors, the support, they were incredible. Really well, the support they had, and that was the bit for me, which. We always talk about having the best league, the best supporters. Well, sometimes you have to see what other people have got, and the South Americans have certainly got the support, that's for sure.
But we've seen how coaches do struggle, how managers do struggle when things aren't going their way, and if it can happen to the very best, it can happen to everybody, can't it?
Yeah. Well, look, there's very few managers get success in their career. It's very hard, There's certain few who get the opportunity to be regular winners and serial winners, if you want to call it that. But there's a lot of managers who go into it and have to work and fight with it every week. I look at it how many managers lose games every weekend and how they're all feeling. They're all generally wanting to win, try to do their best, trying to play their best teams to get results, and a lot of that goes under the table. People don't see that. So we all really care about our job. We want to win. But it's just impossible that we can all do that every week. I think that comes with the job. You have to be able to do it. You have to do your interviews. You have to do it after the game. I think we all understand that. But, quite often, as I said before, not every manager wins, and it's really difficult. And quite often the questions can be challenging. We're disappointed. We've probably just come off the pitch, maybe 20 minutes. We have to be in doing an interview. So lots of things make it pretty difficult. But look, I've had quite a few of them now. There's a lot of those interviews I regret, and maybe the way I spoke, or maybe the way I spoke about a referee, or generally. But that is the job, and that's the emotion, and maybe that's what the cameras are trying to catch.
But that's why you still do it, because you love the job so much.
Yeah, no, I do.
It comes with the territory.
I know. I mean, I love football. I love watching football. I love going to football, and I'm really fortunate that I've been long enough in the game to manage a few games.
Well, David, good luck for this season, and thank you.
Thanks very much.